over the last week I've been thinking about my Hexi Cardi, and I've just decided that my arms are a bit too long, because by the time you get the cuff you're looking at least this much, and it's just going to be too long. So I think I'm going to take mine back 3 rows on the arms, just so that it's not too long when the cuff is on. So I'm going to take back 3 rows and I'll join you when I've done that. I have now frogged 3 rows off of each arm, and as you can see it is looking much better. We've got a little cuff that will sit on here and it's looking much better. So now I'm going to show you how we join the arm. Okay, it's the same as we did last week when we joined at the back with the mattress stitch, but I will just show you again and then I'll leave you to it. The first thing we're going to do is get some loose yarn, and we are going to thread our darning needle. So I'm going to actually start here. I will show you what to do and then I'll leave you to it, because it is just the same as we did last week. So here we're going to go through the chain because it's a bit, yeah, so go through that one. And then we go through this chain. And we just go backwards and forwards through the loop closest. Don't worry about these wispy bits, that'll sort itself out. But yeah, go all the way up to your stitch marker, which should be at the top of your arm. You know, the one where I said don't lose this place in the last part? That is where we go to. So just go all the way up to the top and I will meet you when we get there. So here I am. I'm almost at the end. I'm just going to go to the end of the white. And then through there. And last but not least, through there. And then we're going to just pull it tight. To pull it tight, I hold the first end and I pull the last end. Well, to be fair, they're both the same end, but I meant the start and the finish. And then, because we don't want this to come undone, we need to knot it. So I literally just go under there and pull it tight. And then do it again, just go through there and pull it tight. This end is ridiculously long, but never mind. And then once I've done this end, I just go and do the other end. So I need to knot the other end. This is the part that I really like, because you can see like that it's a cardigan now, and you can try it on and you know like whether it's going to fit properly. Although because we've measured it, it should fit properly. Tie these two together like this. That's how we've done one arm. So now we need to go and do the other arm. But I am going to sew these ends in quickly. While we're here anyway. So to sew my ends in, I am going to work probably down to there. I'm just going to go through as many stitches as I can, because I've knotted it, it should be fine. Make sure you are going through the stitches though and not just underneath, because otherwise it's going to come undone if we do that. I just try and go through as many loops as I can until I get to a place. So look, there's where I'm trying to get to, just there. And then pull it through. You just don't want it to be obvious. That's what I try and do. I try and hide it so that it's not too obvious. Like there you can see the white, but there's not an awful lot I can do about it. So then we're going to go through the bottom of that stitch. We're going to go through that loop there. And then through that loop there. And then we're going to go through those stitches. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to ignore that stitch because we've just gone under that, and we want to leave a stitch in the way so that it doesn't pull back through. And then I'm going to go back the other way. It's like my safety net, I guess. And once I've gone back the other way, I'm going to snip it off. There we go. Right, now I'm going to do the same with this end. So you need to match a stitch to the other arm, and then it will just be a case of sewing in all the ends. Don't forget the armpit one because that would be really annoying. Yeah, and then we'll be able to work on the wrist cuffs. So look, we've sewn up our arms. Doesn't it look so much better and feel so much better when they're sewn up? And we've infilled the back. And so now it is time to put some cuffs, because although we went for the width of the arm, it's still pretty big, so we need to put some cuffs on. I'm going to do the cuffs today, and then I will probably do the waistband, so this bit and this bit, next time. Part 10 will be the last part, and I will show you how to make pockets as well. To start this cuff band, is what I'm going to call it, we need to decrease some stitches, and I'm going to show you how I do that. Doesn't necessarily mean it's how you have to do it, but I'm going to start on the seam because then it's sort of in line with the seam. I'm going to pop my hook in there. I'm going to fold the yarn over. I always crochet over anyway, so that's that. Then we're going to pop that over there. We're going to chain one, and then we're going to do a single crochet, and then our next single is going to be a decrease. So we're going to go through this stitch and this stitch. I know not everybody does decreases like this, but I like how it finishes for my cuff. Then we're going to do one single crochet, and then we're going to do another decrease. So through that one, pull through. Like I say, I know you can do a decrease a different way, but for this I like this one better. So then we're going to do a single, and I'm going to explain the decrease a bit better now. So let me just get this on my lap. So to do the decrease, I put my hook in the stitch, yarn over, pull it back through, put my hook in the next stitch, yarn over, pull it through, and then I pull through all 3 loops on the hook. That is how I do my single crochet decrease for the Hexi. I don't do it that way in amigurumi, but for the Hexi, that is how I do it. And anyway, you're just going to alternate single with decrease. So single, decrease, single, decrease. And I will see you when we get to the start, where we started. And so I'm approaching the end, so we're just going to pop a single in there and a decrease in here. There we go, that's better. And now I'm going to slip stitch it to the start, and then I'm going to stitch mark it, just because I want to know how this feels on my wrist, like whether I've gone small enough or whether I need to do another round of single decrease, single decrease. So look, I can already tell that's still too big. So I'm going to go again and do another round of single decrease, single decrease. But check yours, because yours might be okay. But yeah, I'm definitely doing another round. So chain one, and then single, decrease, single, oops, and a decrease, and just keep going, okay, until you get to the start, and then we'll try it again. You can stitch mark the start. If you find it hard to find your starting stitch, stitch mark it, and that will help as well, okay. Now I'm going to slip stitch to the start, and then I'm going to try it again. Usually I only do 2 rows of this, so we'll have to see. I'm sure it's only 2, it might be 3. See, look, I took those rows off, and to be honest, I probably could have left one on. I'm so undecided with the clothes that I wear. So yeah, I'm going to leave that size, and then I'm going to show you what to do next, okay? So to do the front post, back post, front post, back post, what we're going to do is chain 2, and then we're going to, this is a double crochet, and we are going to go into the front of this post, okay? So through the stitch, so that the stitch is in front. This is our front post, and then we're going to finish our double, and then we're going to do the same, but this time we're going to go through the back post. So you want the post to be behind the hook. So front post, the post is in front. Back post, the post is behind. And what it means by the post, I will just show you. The post is this like little standing bit between the 2 stitches. So on the doubles, this will be the post. Okay, but on a single, it's a bit harder to find. But anyway, so I need to go this way this time, back. But you're just going to do this the whole way round, okay? Just remember which one you get to. Front post, back post, front post, back post. That's what you got to do, okay? So I've done 2, the wrong one there. So too much talking, not enough concentrating. You will find that it will make your cuff a little bit tighter as well, which is quite nice. But I will meet you when we get back to the last stitch on this row. The last stitch is always a bit of a pickle. This is like fake ribbing, this effect. Then we're going to go in there. Come on. Is a bit tricky, that one. Sorry about that. And then we're going to slip stitch into there. So that's the end of our first round of ribbing, okay? Now to get the ribbed effect, we need to make sure that we do our front posts on the front posts. So we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to go again. So front post. Now rather than going through the stitch, you go through the whole post. You want the whole post in front, and then you want the whole post behind. It gets easier when you're on the next round because it's not single and it's so much easier to see. So as you can see, I am back at the start of the, well, the end of the round technically, but the start of the round, if you know what I mean. And I'm going to slip stitch into there. And then I still want my cuff bigger than this, so I'm going to do another round. So we're going to go front. You just keep going until the cuff is actually as big as you want. I will meet you when I am happy with my cuff now, okay? Sorry, I should have said, however many rows you do, make sure you write it down so that on the next side, we can just go straight ahead and we don't have to do any measuring or anything. Just coming to the end of the first cuff. And what I will say is everything you've done on this cuff, you need to do on the next one. So I did 2 rows of single crochet decrease. And then I did, I'm just going to slip stitch that into there and tie it off. And then I've done 7 rows of back post, front post, back post, front post, although I started front post. And so I love how this cuff looks. Let me just show you. See? I think this cuff looks beautiful. It's sewing this end in, and I'm just going down the seam I've made with all my chains, and then I will go along the bottom as well, just because we want that to be sewn in tight. And then everything you've done on this side you need to go and do on the other side. So you need to do your single crochet decrease round, so I did 2. You need to do exactly the same on the other side, and then I will join you once I've done that so that we can see what it looks like. It's a little bit of a hole there, that's fine. I'm going to try and go through there, just sewing in this end, and then I'm going to go through the bottom. I just want it to be as hidden as possible, you know. And then, yeah, let's go through here. So I'm just going through the original single crochets. To be fair, I've actually sewn in quite a lot now, so what I'm actually going to do is just go back the other way. So always go over the first one because that will hold it there. There we go. And then snip it off, and that is your first cuff done. So let's go and do the other side. Thank you for joining me for part 9. Part 10 will be out next week, but look at these cuffs. Don't they look so cool? Next week we will put the bottom band on, we'll put up round the top, and we'll put some buttons. And this is something you could do if you wanted to get in front for next week. You can make some granny square pockets, completely up to you what size, depends how big you want your pockets, but they will go here. So yeah, if you want to make some granny square pockets for next time, that'd be amazing. I'll probably just make mine while I record. But yeah, what do you think? Have fun, guys, and see you next week.